Welcome to the Coach Mike Magistrelli Show. I'm your host, Logen Howell, and with me today is Coach Magistrelli. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Oh, you bet, Logan.
So first question I have for you, tough loss last week. What was the message to the team after that game?
Well, we talked about, missed opportunities. We felt like we had some opportunities during the football game we weren't quite able to capitalize on, and obviously that was, was frustrating. There was a tough loss for us. We also talked about the better opponent that you play, the better the team is that you're playing against, the less margin for error that you have. And I think we found that out. We faced a pretty good football team there in Waldorf and just probably made a couple too many mistakes, errors to beat a good football team like that.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Warriors' big plays were a common theme. Is that going to be a big focus this week?
Well, yeah, they had some pretty dangerous weapons there. The quarterback really did a great job of extending plays. They had an outstanding receiver that was, had great size but also athleticism and was able to make some big plays at times. And so obviously kind of trying to limit those and force teams to beat you in smaller chunks is certainly the emphasis for us.
Yeah, and before we get our highlights started here, Justin Wright, the wide receiver, had an injury in the game. Can you kind of explain what happened there?
Yeah, unfortunately, in an attempt down on the goal line, he dove for the football and unfortunately broke his collarbone, and so he'll be out for an extended period of time for us. So, which is a tough break for us, and that Justin was playing some really good football for us. Was really consistent there at the wide receiver position. So, obviously, anytime you lose somebody due to injury, it opens opportunities for other guys. So, excited for some other guys to step into those roles, but obviously a very tough situation for Justin.
Yeah, and what were your thoughts about Tom Casey's play here in his second week of action?
Yeah, I think Tom's only going to get better and better. Obviously, I thought there was a few passes where, Tom maybe wasn't as accurate as he typically is, but I thought he did some really good things throughout the game, made some good decisions. So I think he's a guy that'll learn from this experience, learn from facing again a good defensive team, good football team, and I think he'll be better in the long run as a result.
Yeah, and one player that really stepped up for Tom Casey was Blake Whitman. He had a couple great catches. In week one, he had a kind of a quiet week, but this week he really broke out. Is that something we can expect moving forward?
Well, Blake's an outstanding football player, and we use Blake in a variety of roles for us. Like you mentioned, he had the big touchdown catch, I believe, the first drive of the second half there really kind of sparked us offensively. And, he's a guy that plays in special teams for us, plays inside, plays outside at receiver, does a number of different things, and does everything at a high level.
Yeah, and as we get into some highlights here, the first offensive drive we're going to see, it's a big 4th and 2, and it's a turnover. Did you feel like that was really it hurt the momentum of the game?
Yeah, we had some situations where, whether it be fourth down or short yardage situations, we weren't able to capitalize here early in the season. That's kind of been a thing the first couple games of the season. So certainly something we've got to address, get better at, focus on, and find a way to convert in those situations.
Yeah, and the Warriors running back Hill, he was a constant threat all day. What challenges did he present to you guys on defense?
Yeah, he's shifty running back, a little short in stature, and so sometimes I think he got lost behind the offensive lineman at times in terms of being able to see him, and he's so quick and explosive that he was able to make some good cuts and certainly difficult to bring down.
Yeah, and the Bees were able to create 4 turnovers on the day. We all saw an almost turnover right there. Is that something we're going to expect all season long, pass rush and creating turnovers?
Yeah, that's kind of an emphasis for us defensively is, getting the ball back and creating turnovers. And Vincent Shaw made a great play there in the end zone to break up a pass. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to intercept it. But, again, great play by Vincent. And, again, that's an emphasis for us defensively.
Yeah, and penalties were an issue for the Warriors all day long as well. Do you think that really helped you guys get down the field at times?
Well, I do. They were very aggressive defensively in terms of, hands-on receivers a lot. We got a number of, pass interference calls. We got some offsides, those type of things. So, I think, playing penalty-free or certainly limiting those penalties is, important aspect for any team in terms of, chances to win a football game.
Yeah, and right there we just saw a turnover. Turnovers seem to haunt the offense as well. What are some ways you guys are going to look to clean those up?
Yeah, obviously, the first one there was kind of a snap issue for us. Unfortunately, here you see another 4th down play in which we made a check up front, changed the play, and didn't do a good enough job communicating that throughout, and we weren't on the same page. And unfortunately, you can't have those type of mistakes on a 4th down, and certainly costly there, deep in their territory.
And we just saw a big play by the defensive line on the previous play, and it seemed like they were constant in the backfield all day long in terms of against the rushing attack. How do you think they played?
very physical, aggressive style, and that's kind of what we pride ourselves on is being very aggressive and very physical at the line of scrimmage, and certainly you control the run game, and you more often than not going to control the football game.
Yeah, and the rushing attack for the Bees was missing one of the main people, and it was Ray Boyer. Is there a timetable for his return?
Well, hopefully we'll get Ray back here pretty soon. He'll be out again this week, but everybody's optimistic, and hopefully we'll get him back sooner rather than later. He's a versatile weapon for us, and certainly comes out of the backfield, runs the ball extremely well, but he's a good pass receiver. Has a ton of experience in our offense, very knowledgeable, knows what he's doing, and certainly adds a spark when we get him back.
Yeah, and right there we just saw Tenali Hall with that nice run. Is he someone that we can expect to get even more of now that we've had some injuries in the backfield?
Well, yeah, obviously with the loss of Ray, you saw Tenali get a few more carries and those type of things. It's something that we'll have to monitor. Obviously, you don't want to overwork them or overload Tenali either. We got some other good backs in Trent Nunn, Cade Gorsney. We got to get some other guys opportunities, and I think that'll keep everybody fresh as well.
Yeah, and throughout these highlights, we've seen Warriors quarterback Jordan Cooper make some plays. Was he even better than you guys expected?
Yeah, he was an outstanding player. You watched him on film coming in, and you kind of knew that he could throw it and again extend plays with his feet. And I thought we saw that come to fruition there. Saturday night as he was able to do just that. Again, make plays with his arm, but also his feet. I know he scrambled for a long touchdown run and those type of things. So he was as advertised.
Yeah, and Bernard Wahaki with the turnover right there. He was all over the place for the Bees. Is this one of his better performances in your opinion?
Yeah, it was a great performance by Bernard. I thought he did a great job pressuring the quarterback. I believe he had a couple sacks on the day and was probably close to another three sacks where the quarterback was just able to get rid of the ball or get away, those type of things. So, we expect big things out of Bernard, and he typically delivers more often than not.
Yeah, we just saw a great punt here. How crucial is it to get flip field position so constantly like you guys have done the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job in the kicking game the first couple weeks, and anytime you unfortunately have to punt, being able to flip the field position is obviously the goal, and you saw us pin them kind of deep in their own end there. So Jackson Hunsinger there is a punter's done a great job early in the season for us, and proved to be quite a weapon.
Yeah, and right there we just saw Jordan Cooper extend plays, and that was a common theme, like you said earlier. What is the ways you guys are going to look to stop that moving forward?
Well, I think certainly at times we got a little undisciplined in our not so much our rush lanes with our defensive ends. I think more often than not it was our blitzers off the edge in terms of taking a contained angle. He got outside of us a couple times in the bootleg. Here you see him step up in the pocket on a pass play and turn it into a long run for a touchdown. And so just being disciplined in terms of our responsibilities, our lanes, all those type of things, that's certainly got to be an emphasis anytime you face an athletic quarterback.
Yeah, and the team went down 14-0, but came back in the ball game. What were some takeaways from that?
Well, certainly didn't play a good first half of football, not like we wanted to, especially on the offensive side, and just kind of went in at halftime and told the guys to more or less just relax. I think guys we're pressing a little bit, wanted to do better, felt we should be doing better certainly, and just wanted to emphasize to the guys that we just didn't play a good first half, and that's what's going to happen when you don't. We have a whole half of football left. We can come out and play a heck of a lot better than we did the first half, and I thought we did just that. I thought we came out in the second half, played with more urgency, played with more focus, made fewer mistakes, and obviously you saw the result here in the second half of starting to move the football more consistently offensively, ultimately erase a 14-0 deficit to eventually take a lead before ultimately losing the football game, unfortunately.
Yeah, we've seen a couple plays here from Justin Wright. We talked about his injury earlier. How are you guys going to look to replace him in that receiving core?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be just one guy, and that's the part of football is injuries, unfortunately, and it's a tough situation for Justin because he was playing extremely well there. Manning was primarily a left receiver position. We'll look to play some other guys. Kalen Young, Tyrese Morgan were guys that came in after the injury. Sherrod Danage is another guy that can play receiver for us and do it at a high level. So, we'll look to use some different guys to fill in that spot there.
And special teams was also able to force a turnover on the kickoff, as we see here. How exciting is it to see that unit playing so well thus far this season?
Yeah, special teams oftentimes is an overlooked aspect of the football game, but certainly an extremely critical one. And I feel like up to this point in the season, we've played pretty well in the kicking game and special teams, and you see some big plays as a result there. Unfortunately, you just saw again a second, fourth down play where we got the ball in great field position, just weren't able to execute. Had a kind of a blown assignment that led to a free rusher that hit the quarterback. And again, we talked early on in the show about the better the opponent, the smaller the margin of error is. And again, you saw us make just a couple too many mistakes to ultimately win.
Yeah, and last week we saw a huge reception by Yemi Ward. Now we see a huge touchdown by Blake Whitman. Both fantastic catches. What's it like knowing you have two people in the receiving corps that can consistently make huge plays like that?
Yeah, they're both outstanding players. Kind of different in terms of Blake just being very probably more the consistent guy. He's not always the kind of run by you type of receiver. Where Yemi has more of that explosive. Kind of big play potential at any point, and I think they complement each other very well. They're both outstanding players, and certainly need those guys as we move forward to make plays for us.
And there were a couple deep shot opportunities. We saw one right there. The team just wasn't able to quite come up with. Is that something you felt could have really changed the game?
Yeah, there's certainly those are a couple ones that jump out to you. Obviously, there were some other plays where again missed opportunities, whether it be some of the fourth downs, but we certainly. Had chances, had opportunities. Certainly have a lot of confidence in our receiving corps. I know again we dropped a couple balls, but talk to the guys on the sideline. Hey, we're going to keep coming back to you. We believe in you, have all the confidence in the world in you, and we're going to come right back your way.
Yeah, and one player that really had to step in was Marshawn Zachary. He had to step in for an injury in the secondary, and he played pretty well. Is he someone the team will depend on the rest of the way? Yeah.
Marshawn's an outstanding player, great athlete. Unfortunately wasn't able to play the first week against Iowa Wesleyan, and so got him back this week. And stepped in when Dante Sibley went out of the game, left the game with an injury, and Marshawn ended up having a big interception later in the football game for us. And just a great athlete. I think this is his interception here, makes a nice return out of it. He's a guy that we use both in special teams as well as on our defensive unit.
Yeah, and Dominic Watt of the Warriors, he came up with a couple of, seemed like back-breaking plays in crunch time. Was he someone who's on the radar all week long?
Yeah, obviously you prepare and you watch film and kind of have an idea who some of the playmakers are and guys that you have a chance to impact the football game. So certainly we're well aware of him, and unfortunately he was able to make some plays that proved pretty costly for us.
Yeah, and Sam Kerr had a huge day as well, and a huge touchdown in the fourth that we're going to see here in just a minute. What does he bring to this offense?
Versatility. Sam's one of the more versatile guys in our offense. Plays our super back or H-back position to where oftentimes he's lined up in the backfield and blocking like a fullback or a tight end. There's times that we'll use him different ways. You saw him right here slip out in the flat, catch a touchdown pass. He's an all-conference guy for us, and certainly guy that we'll look to utilize again in different ways as the season moves on.
Yeah, and we talked about Dominic Watt, but what are some other receivers that really stuck out to you from the Warriors and some plays that they made?
Well, obviously, Watts is the one, the big play here. You can kind of see the, keep his feet and make a great, run after the catch and set up some big plays for them. He's the guy that, at the end of the day, caught the majority of their passes and yards and those type of things, but certainly I thought they did a good job of spreading the ball around here. You see kind of somewhat of a broken play, looked like a run play that the quarterback ended up pulling out and wasn't quite there, and we're able to kind of ad-lib and find him in the end zone to ultimately take the lead. We come right back at the football and obviously just not able to connect there on what potentially could have been a big play for us. I was real happy we come back the very next play, convert here to Blake Whitman over the middle, on a 3rd and long, keep the drive alive, and then unfortunately for us, after a pretty nice run here on 1st down, we end up fumbling the football. And again, you just look back on the missed opportunities, the costly mistakes, whether they be physical mistakes, mental mistakes. Again, just didn't put it all together to at the level we needed to beat a good, good Waldorf team.
Yeah, and did this Waldorf team kind of surprise you in how they played here?
Well, not really, to be honest with you. Again, you watched them on film, and I've seen them over the last couple of years in some trade film or in the national rankings, those type of things. So we knew it was a very talented and good football team. Certainly have some outstanding weapons, and give them a ton of credit. They played pretty well, I thought going in it was going to be a very evenly matched football game. And again, I think the missed opportunities and miscues were ultimately the difference.
Yeah, and right there we saw a big defensive stop to force the field goal, to give the opportunity back to the offense. What do you think of that defensive stop?
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. Our only chance in the game there was to force them, hold them to a field goal. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they got all the way down to like the 1 and ultimately held them to that field goal attempt, and they were able to make it to make it a 7-point game. So obviously you still have an opportunity with the ball one last time. We were able to pick up a couple first downs, and unfortunately weren't able to to punch the ball or get the ball into the end zone to ultimately tie the game up. But was certainly proud of the guys in terms of their effort, intensity, all those type of things were there. Again, it was just a little bit of a lack of execution at times.
Yeah, in the final drive, it seemed like the offense really started to get some things going. What are you going to take away from that drive?
Well, I felt like the whole second half we started to play better football, and some of that was again playing in probably a little bit more rhythm and things like that. And then obviously we gain a lot of rhythm, we gain a lot of confidence when we pick up first downs, we're able to extend drives, stay on the field, those type of things. It was tough in the first half. We had a lot more 3-and-outs, those type of things where, again, you're just not getting into that rhythm, as an offense. So, I think there's things we can pull out of it. We watched the film as a group and, saw a number of things that are extremely correctable. Now it's up to us to be able to correct those and make those adjustments.
Coach, thank you for being here today. Next up, we will hear from Sam Kerr. Don't go anywhere.
Post-graduation, I've served on the alumni board and have really enjoyed that role, staying in touch with St. Ambrose and all the things that are happening and getting to see students and hear about what we're doing for students, new buildings. It's just nice to stay in touch with the place that you lived for 4 years and loved while you're here.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike Magistrelli Show. With me now is Sam Kerr. Sam, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So first question I got for you, how did you begin playing football?
Just youth football. As soon as we were able to throw the pads on when I was a kid, I joined in probably 4th grade.
And has football been the only sport that you played, or has it been just one of many?
It's been one of many. I've played so many sports as a kid. Baseball. I actually played lacrosse here as well. Hockey was a super big one. I mean, as soon as I could put skates on, I played hockey, and that was kind of my dream to play college hockey, but I wasn't very good. But yeah, baseball, basketball I ended up playing, so quite a few sports. And
in your football career, what's been your favorite moment or play that stuck out to you?
my favorite football moment has probably been my state championship my senior year. We lost it my junior year, so it was kind of a redemption thing at that point to go back and win it.
What drew you to St. Ambrose University?
Originally, I came here for lacrosse, but it was probably it was my sophomore years when I came in and joined the football team. But they got a great sports management program, and I knew that was kind of something I wanted to do. So football, lacrosse, and the sports management program, and it's just got a small feeling to it, and it's pretty close to home for me. So it was the right thing for me.
And how would you describe your time under Coach Magistrelli and his coaching staff?
It's been awesome. They've been nothing but accepting with lacrosse in the spring and not being able to play spring ball my sophomore year, and then choosing between lacrosse and football last year. They've been nothing but supportive to me, so I appreciate it.
And what's it been like to get back to a fall season now after last spring season?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, the fall weather. I mean, last Saturday was totally different than our first game. It was finally felt like fall football, and it was just enjoyable compared to the very cold spring we had. So.
And how has the transition been from John Beckendorf to Tom Casey at the quarterback spot?
I think Tom's done a very good job. He's a great young quarterback, and he's got a lot of potential. So I'm excited to see where he can go.
And how do you feel the team played on this last Saturday?
It was a tough loss. I know Coach Magistrelli hit on it earlier, but it was a tough loss. But we do have a lot to learn in film, so it was kind of a good learning opportunity to go in film this week and kind of pick apart the game and learn what we can correct from last game.
Yeah, and speaking of things you can learn from, what can we expect from this Bees team moving forward?
Definitely a lot more grit this week. We focus on, Coach Magistrelli talked about this week, focusing on ourselves this week and really what we can improve on. So I'm excited about this week's practice and this weekend's game. We got a very good team coming to town, so I'm excited.
And last question I have for you, are there any goals that you have set for yourself for the rest of this season?
Just be the best football player and the best teammate possible. I mean, I love the guys I'm around, so I'm excited to see where this season goes, and we have a lot of potential. So I'm not too many goals in mind, but I'm just all about the team.
Sam, thanks for being here today. Up next, we'll hear from Coach Magistrelli. Stay tuned.
St. Ambrose holds a really special place in my heart. I think I have Ambrose to thank for where I'm at in my professional career. And I think when I think about Ambrose the most, it's where I met my husband. We work together, and so when I look at my family and everything that I have in my life right now, it all ties back to St. Ambrose in some way, shape, or form.
We're more than a radio station. We're your neighbors, investing time in our community. We're mentors, guiding the next generation of broadcasters. We're supporters of veterans, partners with social service agencies, and investigators of history. We're dedicated sports fans. We're committed to the stories that make the Quad Cities unique. We are KALA Radio, 88.5 FM, 106.1 FM. Turn it on, turn it up.
Welcome back to the Coach Magistrelli Show. With me again is Coach Magistrelli. Coach, what can we expect from the Bees offense this week?
Well, obviously we looked at the film from a week ago and see some of the mistakes, some of the issues that we had. Expect we'll play a whole lot cleaner football game. We got to do some things to where due to some injuries and loss of personnel, we talked about Ray at running back and Justin at receiver. We're going to see some different guys, get in and get opportunities. At the running back position, we talked about, both Trent Nunn and Cade Gorsney are guys that are probably going to get more action there in the backfield, as well as that receiver with, Kalen Young and Tyrese Morgan, Sherrod Danage. Again, those are guys that are going to fill in some at receiver. So I think you'll see us play a whole lot cleaner, but also have some different pieces in there at times.
Yeah, and we can't talk about the offense without talking about the defense. What can we expect from them this week?
Well, I thought our defense played pretty well a week ago. You look at a couple big plays, and I think that's was kind of the Achilles heel a week ago. And certainly Concordia is going to have some outstanding talent as well. So limiting big plays, keeping the ball in front, being able to be disciplined in whether the rush lanes or blitz lanes, those type of things. Those are some things that, as you look at the film from a week ago, certainly we'll work to get better at.
And is it difficult to prepare for a school who hasn't played yet this season?
It is. There's obviously no film to go off of. You try and go off what you know about them from previous years, things like that. And what we do know is Concordia is an outstanding football team. Nationally ranked, I believe 6th in the nation. And very worthy of it. So know that they're an outstanding opponent. And again, we talked earlier about the better the opponent, the smaller margin for error that you do have. And so obviously you go from a good Waldorf team to an even better Concordia team, and obviously that margin for error becomes even that much less.
Yeah, and good opponents are pretty common for the Bees, as we see a couple other teams on the schedule this year. What's it like seeing so many teams up here that you're going to have to prepare for this year?
Great opportunities. Obviously, we want to be in the national rankings. We want to be one of those teams, consistently ranked nationally. And in order for us to do that, we've got to beat some ranked teams. And obviously, we have an opportunity to do that. Starting this week with Concordia, but you saw, Olivet and St. X and Roosevelt and a number of different teams, remaining on our schedule that are nationally ranked. So, sometimes at the outset of the season, you look at the schedule and it can be kind of daunting as you face a number of, ranked opponents and really, really good football team, but obviously you hear coaches say it all the time. You got to take it one game at a time and focus on the one you have in front of you, and that's what we're trying to do right here.
Coach, thank you for your time today. That concludes the Coach Mike Magistrelli Show. Be sure to tune in to KLA FM for this weekend's game. Thanks for watching.